everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scovel, and you're on the lifeboat. Holy hell, did I just see Chase the Heat? I have managed to unblock my brother. That's a good thing. So, people, wait till you hear the story I got for you. This one, I wasn't lying. It's getting ready to get ugly. As my friends in Texas would say. It's fixing to get ugly. So let me tell you what happened. As most of you who know the channel know, I recently had a heart thing. No big deal. Honestly, medicine's going to be taking care of it, and everything is groovy. However, still got to get that medicine. So I have the ability I was calling to try to look into alternate forms of payment. When I found out that there's a program for people who, when you get out of prison and you're done with your paper and everything is killed and you're a federal inmate, you got a shot at getting the federal government to pick up 1 year of your medical, which is really a beautiful thing because the Suboxone is so expensive. The generic is $396. Now, normally you can use a good RX card. You could get it down to a much cheaper. Anyway, to make a long story short, none of those things are happening, and I owe $396. So I timed it where I went longer than I should have, but I was waiting because I don't want to pay that money, and I was hoping that today would be the day. So last night I got the call. It said, yeah, you're approved. Here's your RX number, all of that. So I go down to the pharmacy, and I walk in, and they said, oh, we can't take this. I said, now, why would that be? Because it says that you're not in the system. People, if I'm lying, this was a all-day long process. In and out of pharmacy, sending emails back and forth. It was an all-day process. And in the process, my phone's out of commission completely, and hopefully that's going to make a comeback. And yeah, all forms of communication right now are on the fritz, which is not a good thing. But anyway, to make a long story short, this is where it gets ugly. So finally, they said to me, "Oh, we got this figured out. It's approved." The problem was they didn't have you in for the prescription card, which that's a bummer. But we didn't have you in for the prescription card part, and we just fixed it, which is really kind of cool, right? Great. I walk up to the register, and the guy said, "Oh, they don't pay for name brand. I'm sorry, they don't pay for generic. They don't pay for generic." Now, I had them call in generic because I thought I might have to be the one to put up the money. So I had them call in generic. Well, they don't have any other Suboxone in the entire pharmacy except this generic, which they will not pay for. So I have to pony up $400, or I have to go without. Right? Those are the two options, and I'm weighing them at the cash register. Now, today I didn't do any Suboxone. You see, I ran out yesterday, which was not a big deal because today I could go to the pharmacy. And they said, well, what would you like us to do? I said, can you break it in half? And I'll just buy half of the generic myself, and then I can pick up the other half of it. They don't do that. So to make a long story short, people, I just decided that I was going to let it go until Monday. This is multifaceted. Number one, I don't really want to come out of pocket $400. That's a lot of money. It feels like a drug habit. You know, when I'm paying down by around $100, it feels like a prescription. Up around $400, it feels like a drug habit. Now, if I had gone to a smarter pharmacy, but with a controlled substance, the schedule controlled substance means that once this is called into a pharmacy, it is a very difficult thing to get it changed to another pharmacy. Not if your doctor's local and right outside the door, but mine is not. This is a national service, and it's just kind of a thing. Any hoot. So what it comes down to is, people, I'm dope sick. Well, I'm at least the very beginning of withdrawals from Suboxone. Now, that's different than dope sick. It really is. But it's going to get ugly because I didn't make any other arrangements. I thought to myself, you know what? People ask the question all the time, what if your prescription doesn't come through and you got to go without? So I thought, I got friends that I probably could have made other arrangements, so to speak. But I wouldn't do that. I know a lot of people on the boat who take Suboxone. This would not have been a difficult problem to remedy, but I have opted not to. So I'm feeling it, people. I'm starting to feel that slide down to the dark side. No, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting sick, you know, not the end of the world, but a little bit under the weather, but no big deal. I have something I want to talk to everybody about. You know, Someone sent me a really beautiful email. Excuse me. And I was reading it this morning, and it was talking about the lifeboat. And, when new people come in and we bring in, when we get new crew members and say 150 of them show up over the course of a couple of days, or 300 or whatever, a lot of people really groove to what we're doing, and they reach out and they tell me, and it's these letters are so much fun to read. They really are. They're so much fun to read. And I would say the vast majority of people that reached out to me, Scooby, thank you for your help this morning. How great is that? Huh? How great is that? Well done, Scoob. Well done, Scoob. That's the beauty of the lifeboat right there. It really is. People helping one another. That is the beauty of the lifeboat. And I'm proud as hell to be associated with it. Somebody just bought a watch. That's good news. So I'm going to be cataloging my descent into madness while I go without this medication for the next 3 days. 6 months. Love you too, Seventh, and I really do. Every day I figure out a little more about just how wise some of the people that we have on the lifeboat are. I mean, it's another watch. It's like one thing after another, where somebody says something and I go, man, you know what? Why didn't I think of this? And that's the beauty of the boat. It really is. I'm going to quiet this puppy down because I'm not a pro. You see, if I was a pro, this already would have been done, but I'm not strong at the whole YouTube thing yet, but it's good to see Johnny back. So a lot of the people that reach out, the vast majority of people who reach out are sober already. Not all of them. A decent number of people who reach out are still in the life, and that's perfect, right? I would rather see 150 people show up that really need help, right? That's the best possible case scenario. And the crew on this channel actually do help people get sober. I mean, it's an amazing thing, but it works if you stick around and you give it something to go on. But got me thinking, and you don't want to offend anybody that's on drugs. The last thing you want to do, it's like the people at some of these other programs that we all know, and they're great programs. They really are. They're fantastic programs. They've saved so many people, right? And we stand on their shoulders because they invented the concept of an addict helping an addict, right? And did a beautiful job. And it works. If you work that system, it will absolutely work. But if you show up at the door of one of those meetings and you got a buzz on, you're not coming in. It's a policy, right? They think it's a trigger to other people, and I'm sure that it probably would be. But we don't want to exclude anybody ever. We really don't. And we don't want to say anything from the cockpit of the lifeboat that's going to offend anybody that's in the life. We want everybody that hears the sound of the voice on the boat, whether it's mine or Heather's or Mark's or anybody else's, and think this is a place where I'm welcome and this is a place where I can come and actually work on the problems that I have in my life. The beautiful thing is that much like a 12-step program, if you were to take a 12-step program and you would say, what's going on in your life? Well, I'm fighting really badly with my wife. Okay, great. Let's pretend that that's your addiction. And then let's take the 12 steps and apply it to that. There are things about this that you can control. There are things about this that you can't, right? Except the ones that you can't. If you just take all of the rules of sobriety and apply them to just about anything, it works. If you just want to change your life, if you just want to make yourself better than you are, all of these concepts work across the board. Because what we're talking about is having something looming that is so dreadful and so frightening that we're afraid to attack it, right? If you can't apply that to anything, then you're not really thinking outside the box, right? Consider any of this help and you can do it off-label. You don't have to be a drug addict to get a hell of a lot out of the things that we talk about on the lifeboat and the things that people talk about in the comment section, right? To be real. But if you're here and you're listening to the sound of my voice and you're still in the life, right? You're still using dope and it's a problem in your life. We want to push you as hard as we can to quit, but we don't want to push you so hard that we come across like everybody else that's ever been in this game, right? Because all of the people who have been in any kind of a rehabilitation deal that I've ever been to really come on strong. And if you're not ready, then you're not ready. Sit and listen. And the day is coming where you're going to be ready. We've had people hang out for 6 or 7 months before they finally decided that this was the time that they're ready to get sober. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's kind of the dream of the boat, in my opinion. right? It really is. But you still have to kind of look at the reality of things. And we're going to do a little bit of a reality roundup today on the lifeboat. Currently in our country, we're losing about 300 people a day to overdose. And I don't care what your drug of choice is anymore. I really don't. You know, I mean, if you're smoking weed and you're getting it at a dispensary, well, you're probably pretty safe, right? You know, states are regulating that product and delivering something that's probably not going to kill you. If you're getting a prescription at a pharmacy with your name on it, you're probably in pretty good shape. If you're doing anything other than those two things, the odds that you're getting dope that may have come in contact with fentanyl is incredible, right? This is a huge possibility. And you say, well, I don't have to worry about that because I just do blow. You know what I mean? Like I don't screw with pain meds and I don't screw with downers. So, you know, I'm not going to overdose. They are cutting cocaine with fentanyl. A ton of overdoses last year from that. One very, very famous one in Colorado that killed 5 people in one apartment. And I assure you, those people did not think they were snorting fentanyl. No, they thought that they got an 8-ball and they were all about to get wrecked. That's what they thought. Shouldn't have to die for that, right? But right now, the only weapon that we've got is keeping your head in the game, right? Is the only way you can guarantee that these drugs aren't going to kill you in today's world is by not doing any of those illicit substances that can come from the street. And I don't care how long you've known the guy on the street. I don't care how tight you are, if you went to college together, whatever, because the farther you go down the food chain, somewhere along the way, somebody cut that dope. And this is reality. So here's what you got to think about if you're getting high today. And I'm not pressuring you, man. Come back forever. But this is the world that you're living in. And just as importantly, if not more importantly, we're all eventually going to leave this place. And I don't mean a lifeboat. I mean the big boat. We're all going to die. And if right now you're in the life, here's a thought I want you to think about for a second. If you continue to do what you're doing right now, if you continue to get wasted, to get high, to get loaded, you know, snorting it, shooting it, whatever you're doing, drinking it, if you continue to do that, then your best days are behind you. Think about that. No matter how long you're on this planet, keep doing what you're doing right now. And when the time comes for you to close your eyes for the last time, all of your best days will have been behind you. It would have been when you were young. That's frightening stuff. But it's a fact. If you continue to do what you're doing, you're going to continue to get what you're getting, and you're going to piss away a tremendous amount of your life. Take this from a guy that did that. It took me more than 3 decades of wrestling with my addiction. And I think these days, God, where would I be and what would I be doing if I just could have knocked 10 years off of the amount of time I did dope? Because trust and believe, I had conversations with my brother Johnny, with all kinds of people about doing what I'm doing right now. Maybe not in front of a camera, but doing this, trying to reach people and tell people that you can be sober. Trying to tell people how to raise a drug-free kid, trying to do things to make the earth a better place than I found it. And I was still using, but I knew that like this was something that called to me for a really long time, but I didn't get it because I continued to get high. And if you continue to get high, your best days are behind you. If you quit doing dope today, if you put down the pipe or you put down the whatever today, tomorrow isn't going to be your best days. Neither's the next day. You guys are going to get a chance to see what a little low end withdrawal is going to look like, and it's unpleasant. So if you were to quit cold turkey with things, and I don't ever recommend that you quit cold turkey without talking to a doctor before you do. I am not a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to play one on YouTube, but there are substances out there that if you quit cold turkey can kill you. Benzodiazepines, right? Your Valium, your Xanax, right? All of those, and alcohol. So if at all possible, please talk to a doctor before you do anything. And nothing that I say will ever replace what a doctor can tell you. Why? Because they went to school about the same amount of time that I committed crime, right? So pretty impressive stuff. Stick with them. That said, the day that you quit, life doesn't get better the following day. You quit on a Friday. Saturday's not all puppies and rainbows. In fact, Saturdays is dung and barbed wire is what it is. And That's something that you got to wrestle through. But I'm here to tell you in no uncertain terms that if you quit doing dope today, then your best days are in front of you. It's going to suck in the beginning. It is. It's going to suck. Might suck for a month. Might suck for 6 of them. Might suck for 2 or 3 years. But your best days will be in front of you. Let that sink in. If you don't quit now, your best days are behind you. If you quit now, your best days are in front of you. Plain and simple. That should be the goal of every single person here, whether you've ever had a drug problem or not. Whether you've ever had a drug problem or not, your goal should be that your best days are always going to be in front of you. You know what, people? I have reached a place of Zen peace, and I swear to God, it's because of the lifeboat. It really is. Now, I get an added benefit that I get to sit in front of the camera and that people get to see me. And what I mean by that is saying, you know what, I'm a convicted bank robber, I'm a heroin addict, and starting to tick off all of my sins while people listen was a concept that was really not very pleasant when I started this. Alan Ballantyne gifted 5 lifeboat memberships. Thank you, Alan. That is my brother. Haven't talked to him either, man. We missed each other last week because of my doing the things that I did at the hospital, and then he got called out of town to work, but I will be talking to you tomorrow, brother. And thank you. That's 5 new crew members here on the lifeboat. So thank you, Alan. Alan's a stud. And you know, it's a perfect example of the opposite of addiction being connection. Man, I love Alan. I really do. I love Alan. I wish Alan lived on this side of the world. But yeah, I have, when I built my circle of 5, Alan was the top of the food chain on that. And if you haven't heard us talk about that, you got to have 5 people that you can call if you feel like you're going to screw up, if you feel like something bad's going to happen, if you're in a pinch. I'm telling you, people, to be off Suboxone a day and knowing I got until Monday, I should be in a dead panic. At any other time in my life, I absolutely would be. I would be in an absolute tailspin. And I have kind of reached this point of Zen. I'm not telling you that it's not going to be unpleasant because it's going to suck. But in almost all things, if you've been on the boat for any length of time, this is about as calm as I've ever been. Rage is something that I've struggled with for all of my adult life, and never toward people, usually toward myself, or God forbid, things in my hands. Like, you know, occasionally I've crushed a phone or two, or body slammed a phone or two, you know, but I'm reaching a point now where I am as happy as I've ever been. And one of the reasons is, and I'm completely convinced of this, is that I live 100% out of the sobriety closet. I don't care. When I got to a point where I truthfully did not care whether or not people knew my past, the level of peace that comes from that. You know, I found myself at a pharmacy today, and they, you know, they're struggling to try to get this prescription filled, and they're looking down on it. And it says buprenorphine. And, you know, she just had this apologetic look on her eyes because, you know, she knows that if I wait until Monday, it's probably going to get ugly. And she said, please tell me you have some more of this at your house. And I said, I don't. And she said, you know, tell me that, you know, what are you going to do? You know, maybe we can, you know, try to break this up. And she did everything she could do, you know, but I'm not dropping the money, and I'm not that concerned about it. I really am not. It's going to make for great content. It really is. It's going to make for great content. Hold on 1 second. I missed something here. Wharton, you all right, brother? Something happened with my brother Wharton, and I am not finding it. Wharton, you're in my thoughts and prayers always, brother. Please hang in there. Yeah, I didn't see what happened, but please hang in there. So right around the time this Zen thing kind of begins, I started to realize that I truthfully have overcome one of the nastiest addictions that just about anybody had ever come across. Sound like I'm bragging? It's not so much that I'm bragging to other people, but I really started bragging to myself. I'm not kidding. Like, this started when I was in prison and I was still with Q, and I think he encouraged it. I don't think you should be going out to every single person you meet and telling them, Rip, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're healthy. No, you know what? I know, Rip, There have been some other people that have made that. Thank you. I'm good. Number one, I think it'll make for some good contact. And number two, I'm not that concerned about it. I'm really not. Virginia. Much love, Virginia. Virginia is one of the nicest people on planet Earth. I kid you not. One of the nicest people you would meet anywhere in the world. Just epitomizes the what the lifeboat is. Just loving and caring, and I could tell you stories. There's just one of the kindest people ever. KD gifted 1 membership. Conky Dong, thank you, my brother. I really appreciate that. So I started to apply the principles that got me sober to the rest of my life. And I just had a little bit of heart trouble and found myself in the hospital. And, my blood pressure is good. But, and for that reason, they don't say things like, man, you really ought to drop some weight. I mean, my blood pressure is ridiculously good. It's like it was in the teens, up top, like 116 to 119 and below in the 70s or high 60s. So I'm in really, really good, good blood pressure, and the pulse is good, and all of those good things are happening. AKA Heather Joy. Good to see you. Great job this morning, Heather. Carousel Delirium. Good to see you. And thank you for your patience. I was supposed to call Carousel Delirium today. And with the day I had, that didn't come to fruition, but it will. I assure you it will. And I thank you for your patience. And welcome to the boat. You look great in green. You look great in green. But I started applying all of these different techniques that I've learned. And I said to the doctor, what do you think about me losing some weight? He said, well, your heart works less the less you weigh. And you can ask my brother Alan Ballantyne about this. Man lost an entire human being in weight. And you just start, everything gets better. It is one of those things. Everything. Sharon, great to see you. NZ Chilihead, good to see you. Everything gets better when you start to put less stress on the heart. So I decided I'm going to lose 30 pounds. And I've already implemented a couple of things, but I went at this the exact same way that I went at sobriety. And if you're going to do something in your life, people, we joke about this all the time, but if you're going to go on vacation, well, you plan that vacation a hell of a lot better than you plan your sobriety, right? And I know this because I get the emails every single day. Oh man, I relapsed. What happened? I went to a party on Saturday night, and imagine this, they were drinking there, right? Well, if your drug of choice is alcohol, maybe you should realize before you go to a party that there's probably going to be some booze there. And maybe you should have a game plan. If you get there and you find out that it's just not going to work, like I can't be around this yet. Maybe I pushed myself a little bit too fast. Maybe the people that are at this party, I haven't been able to be open with enough so that at least they won't encourage it. It's one of the problems with not telling the truth. You know what I mean? It's not disrespectful for a guy to say, come on, what do you mean you're not going to have a beer? It's not horrible unless you're saying it to somebody who has an alcohol problem. But if we're not honest with all of the people in our life, then that's really a threat. And if you don't want to be honest with all the people in your life, you know what? That's on you. It's got nothing to do with me. But that requires a different set of planning altogether, right? Like maybe bring your own bottle and drink something with some club soda and a lime in it. Have a plan. The point being the planning. You know the difference between successful people and failures? I promise you. The difference between people who succeed in life and people who dream about succeeding in life but do not, the difference is that one set of those people put pen to paper 365 days a year. Every single day of their life, they are writing down their future. They're dictating their future into their journal and into the world and into the universe and into their subconscious mind. And we're going to be doing some shows about this coming up, about what happens when your subconscious mind isn't programmed. If you let your subconscious mind run wild with no programming whatsoever, what happens? You want to know what happens? Look around. For real, look around. Because this happens to people on drugs in a very large way. And it's one of the reasons that we are on drugs. If your subconscious is not wired in a healthy way, then it's going to fight against you 24/7. It's going to fight against you when you're sleeping. It's going to fight against you when you're awake. And it will know if you are bad or good. I'm sorry. It just seemed like it flowed with what I was saying. You know what I mean? It had that Santa kind of appeal to it. But seriously, if you can't rewire your the sub part of your brain, then you're gonna struggle through this. Carousel, I would love to make that happen, and we will make that happen. I promise. The 5% method. I would love to have you come on and talk about that. So we'll make that happen. Okay. I drank myself into the hospital is what happened to me. You know what? And coming out and saying it and being honest, seventh, there's really something to that. There's a power in not having anything hanging there and tickling you. You throw it all out on the table. You throw it all out on the table. It's the more open I am, especially with the people that care about me, the more open I am, the happier I am. And I don't care anymore. I have reached a level where if you don't dig me because I robbed banks, I'm good with that. And I'm not even mad at you. I completely get why you wouldn't want to associate with somebody that robs banks. I get it. I really do. And I'm not mad at you. I just kind of move on. But I don't let things like that bother me anymore. And in fact, I don't let a whole lot of anything bother me anymore. It doesn't pay off. It truthfully and honestly doesn't pay off. So back to that damn journal. If you're not putting pen to paper 365 days a year, you're not going to hit your full potential. You're not. If I say to you, what are your plans? If you can't tell me what your plans are, well, then you're coasting, right? We do really well as a species when we are moving towards something. When we are moving towards a goal, we're absolutely incredible. For those of you on the boat that believe that we went to the moon, think about NASA. Think about how all of those people came together to make that happen. For those of you who don't believe that, I'm not mad at you either. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at you. I understand your argument. But for the point of illustration, let's just pretend that you believe they got there. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for a brother? So when we strive for something, World War II, we know that really took place. And we went from a country that didn't manufacture anything even remotely like what we needed to an engine that was cranking out hundreds of thousands of planes and tanks monthly. It's just bizarre. It really is what we were capable of doing. But it's that way with human beings constantly. If you have a goal that you're working toward, life will be good. Remember that idle stuff I was talking about where you're sitting on the couch and you're doing this number? Tell you what, put that to bed. I did a show about structure the other day, right? If you structure your life in such a way so that the new you is doing nothing the old you did, well, then you're probably on your way to success. One of those things should be writing down where you want to be in a year. Where do you want to be in a year? Financially, emotionally, spiritually, where do you want to be in a year? I hope you say at least 1 year sober. You know what I mean? Maybe just 1 year sober would be a hell of a goal. But if you've been in sobriety a little while and you're starting to feel good, where do you want to be in a year? All the way down the line. Now, I'm not a guy that says anybody can overcome anything. I'm not doing the rah-rah thing. There are things that are just not going to be possible, right? My best friend's in a wheelchair. He's not going to will himself out of it. He's not. But there's a hell of a lot he can do and still every year be progressing as a human a little bit further. What does that mean? I don't know. But if you write in the journal, you'll know. Because what that means to you and what that means to me are two completely different things. I guarantee you. The only thing in common we'll probably have on that is that we both like to be sober 365 days from now, right? And I'd be willing to bet that almost anybody that fills this out would like to be a little bit financially more stable. At the end of this year coming up, we'd like to be a little better off financially than we are now, right? That's not a bad goal. It's a pretty good one. In our relationships, we would like to be loving a little bit better. We'd like to be doing all of these things. How do we make that happen? Well, I don't know. I really don't. But I know how to not make it happen. I got that to a science. Get high. Tell yourself you're just going to do it on the weekends, right? Or tell yourself that you might get high 3 days in a row, but you'd never do it fourth day in a row because on that fourth day, you'll catch a habit, right? With certain drugs. Fifth day, sixth day, whatever the case may be. But when guys chip, when they're doing pills or they're doing heroin, and they just get what's called a chippy. It's the habit where you get high for 2 or 3 days in a row, and then you stop for a day or two, and then you get high for a couple of days in a row, and you stop for a day or two. And they're, in my opinion, they call it chipping because there was only one person who ever did it, and his name must have been Chip. Because every person I've ever met who tried that ended up catching a habit. And in this day and age, most of those people are dead. The number of people that I used to get high with who are still alive, I know of 2 to be sure, right? But if you think of 30 years of doing dope, and I know of 2 of the people that I did dope with are still alive, it says a lot about where we're at right now in the world. This is a pretty ugly, this is a great comment. Thank you, Seventh. It's a great comment. Lemmy says, considering how I got my last 1,000 subs on YouTube, I'd rather not have a gun pulled on me. He had one. If you haven't seen that, he lives a pretty adventurous life. If you haven't seen his channel, you really should. Patrick Taylor, 12 days. Did you hear that, peeps? 12 days today. You know what that is? That brings out the participation trophy. This is the official, you know it's official because I'm holding it. The official participation trophy. Congratulations, man. 16 days is huge. It's huge. So I'm almost caught up on emails, people. If I have not gotten back to you, just be patient. I swear to God, I am going to be hitting you back. I do answer everybody, but we got a whole new flood of people, and it has caused a bit of a backup. And know this, if what you are needing to talk about is really, really important, if you feel like it's a matter of, if it's life and death, call 911, don't call me. And we've had that happen before, right, on the boat. So if it's a matter of life or death, you call 911. If it is a matter of I may use or not, yeah, you know what, put into the heading, I'm this close to getting high, I'm about to use, I'm about to screw up, I can't find my 5, because I normally go in order, but I scan them first to see if there's anything that jumps out at me like this person's in huge trouble. You know what I mean? Now, I get a lot of letters from a lot of people that say, you know how many times I've tried this? You know what? You haven't tried it once. With all due respect. When you come to the lifeboat, we do things a little bit differently. We really do. This is a much different concept. It is short, it is sweet, it is different, right? Obviously, most rehabilitation is based on the fact that you really need to admit that you have a problem, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. If you don't think you have a problem, why are you here? If you cannot accept the fact that you are a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever you want to call it, then you're not going to get where you need to be, period. Period. It just doesn't work. You really have to have a handle on the fact that you have a problem. Okay? And then at that point, what we do is we make a list of every single reason, every single person, every single thing. When you think to yourself, I got to quit, man. I got to quit. Why? Why do you have to quit? Articulate that stuff. Write it down. Because people say that all the time. I got to quit. No, you don't. No, you don't. I know people that did dope till the day they died. I got a friend named Lenny that didn't miss ever doing dope. Ever. Did it till the day he died. You don't have to quit. No, you don't. So why do you want to? When you think, I got to quit, why? Why do you have to quit? What makes you feel so guilty? What makes you think, I got to, do this? It's killing my wife. Okay, good. Write down wife. But Tommy, they said that you got to do it for yourself. Well, I'll tell you something. On my first day of trying to get sober, I didn't like myself. Not a lick. In fact, I hated myself. To the very center core of my being, I hated myself. But Q said to me, then you need to create a new self. If you hate the one that you got, fix it, right? Start from the scratch and just rebuild one. So I made a list of all of the people I didn't hate, of all of the people that I really thought about when I thought I got to get sober. I don't want my daughter to grow up with a dad who's in and out of prison, right? She was, it was getting to an age where, I wasn't allowed in her life. It's a long story and I don't want to take up the whole, but at the age of 12, her mother decided that she was going to allow me to talk to my daughter. And my daughter had told my ex-wife she wanted to talk to me. That was right around the time that I was working with Q. I did not want my daughter to be ashamed. of me. I wanted my daughter to have a legitimate relationship. I wanted her to know who I was. I didn't want to let down my son. I didn't want to let down my parents. I didn't want to hurt the people on this planet that had gone so out of their way to try to help me. All right, so I wrote all of that down. And when I was done, I handed it to my mentor, and he said to me, now, real simple as hell, here's how it goes. And you can think about this any way you want. You could think if it was God writing down a description of who you are so that there is no BS. The way that my mentor described it to me was, if the 3 or 4 people who knew you better than anybody on the planet, knew your skeletons, knew all of it, if we asked them, tell me a little bit about Tommy, and I'm not there to hear it, and I'm never going to hear it, what do you think they would say about you? How would they describe you? Well, they would have said I was a thief, that if I can steal it, I'm gonna. They would say I'm a junkie, that I had a 6 to 7 gram a day heroin habit, and if it meant anything, I was going to get that. Whatever I had to do, I was going to steal enough money every single day to make sure I had that dope, and nothing was going to get in my way. I was myopic. I would look and go and laser focus, and there was nothing else. I didn't worry about any of the things that people on this planet worry about. I worried about getting a needle in my arm. That's what I worried about. And it started with, small stuff, stealing a little bit here, a little bit there, until you start stealing a lot of stuff here and a lot of stuff there, and you start doing more dangerous licks and stupid stuff. And eventually you get tired of selling the stuff that you steal, right, to try to get drugs for a whole lot less than the stuff that you stole is worth. Right? You deal with somebody that's called a fence, and you might steal $1,000 worth of something, and you'd be lucky if the fence gives you, say, $450 or $350 or $250. And when they realize you're sick, they got you. They may offer you $110, and you probably will take it because you just got to not be sick. And that was the only focus of my life. You understand? That was it. And that's what they would describe. And I wrote it down, and I went back to him about 6 minutes later. He goes, are you serious? He said, man, this should take a really long time. And I started to really unpeel the onion, and I started to be brutally honest about who I was. Selfish. And then basically when the fabric of who I am is as close to being torn as it's ever going to be, because I'm bummed out at what dude's putting me through, I went back and I said, here. And he said, okay, now get a fresh sheet of paper and let's design the new you. And that's what I did. I wrote down snot face. Good to see you. I wrote down, I wanted people to say I was honest. I wanted people to say that I cared about others more than I cared about myself. I wanted people to say, I just went down the list. What would I want people to describe me as? Right? Doesn't bum me out at all if somebody says a man of God. I dig that. There's a time that probably would have scared me. I really hope people would think that, because I believe very strongly in God. But if I go down the list of all of the things that people could say about me, this is what I want. This is going to be the new me. Now, in order to have that new me, I can't lie about the old me, right? I can't go, oh, no. No, it's pretty important to me that people realize where I came from, right? In terms of who I was as a person. That's a very, very important thing to me, because without it, the story means nothing. Truthfully, Yankee Kyle, 35 years, people. Yankee Kyle has got, I believe, if that's not the longest streak that we got on the boat, it's got to be really close. Congratulations again, Yankee Kyle. 35 years. Tell me that doesn't just make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. No jokes about me not having hair on the back of my neck. If it were there, it would be sticking up. You still get the same kind of feeling. You really do. Awakened by the Looking Glass. Good to see you. Hello, V. Miss Dragon. Glad that you're here. You know what? The boat is growing, people. It's growing in a beautiful way. It really is. It's growing in an absolutely beautiful way. So what's going on over the weekend? Here's how it's going to go down. We're going to get, I don't know how many videos I'm going to shoot. I know we're going to be at 5 in the morning, and we're going to be here at 5 at night. Leisure Beast. Good to see you, bud. Quiet Girl. Glad you're here. We're going to be doing the 5s. We'll have a show on the 5s. That pretty much you can count on, people. We're going to make sure that those two go up always. Still here listening. Kathy, good to see you. Hi, Valerie. We're going to be doing those always. You don't have to worry about the 5s, but there are going to be some videos sprinkled in during the day tomorrow. Shatsy, 5 months. 5 months. How great is that, peeps? You're welcome, Yankee Kyle. Yeah, well, thank you. What are you kidding? So fantastic. That's inspiration, man. You know, when someone who's got 5 months, which by the way is awesome, 5 months is absolutely huge. You got to love it. You really do. You got to love it. So, but if you're at 5 months and you see somebody that writes 35 years, you know what that does? It says, I can do that. Hey, Chase the Heath. I am working 14 of the next 17 days. Well, if it makes you feel better, I will be working 17 of the next 17 days. Look what I got. Squirrel nut zipper. Squirrel. Congratulations on the 5 months, says Chili Phil. Exactly. Congratulations. 5 months is epic. And at 5 months, you got to like looking at Yankee Kyle and going, I can do this, right? This is possible. Now Squirrel's going to see what she can't break. This is a game she plays while I do the lifeboat. My cat is a terror. What are you doing? So I will be sprinkling videos in throughout the day. Why, you ask? Well, because I'm going to be going through withdrawals, and we're going to go through this together. We're going to see. I'll be giving you the play-by-play on what it feels like to cold turkey off of a 8 milligram a day Suboxone habit. Well, I'm going to cold turkey until at least Monday, because that is when the 2K in 14 days. Good for you, brother. Good for you. I'll tell you what, it's nice to see Chase the Heat up there. Shatsy, you'll get it, bub. You'll absolutely get it. I promise you. You've got this. You have got this. You know what it is? Plain and simple. It's following a game plan. And the beautiful thing is you get to write the game plan. You don't have to follow any of the stuff we're doing. Because once you get through that second page, you sit down and you design who you want to be. Right? Then we start doing that whole structure thing. So what is the new you going to do during the day? Sounds silly as crap, doesn't it? But here's what happened, people. We spent so much time sticking needles in our arms. We spent so much time lifting a bottle, going to a bar, doing shots, any of the things that you were doing to get this stuff into your body. You learn that if I get really upset, I'm going to get high. If I get really, really happy, I'm going to get high. Things go good, high. Right? New kids, high. Divorce, high. New marriage, high. What do you think you're doing to that subconscious mind that I was talking about earlier? Huh? Clintman, 81. You look good and green. Thank you very much. People really appreciate you. Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. And it does literally help people, which is a beautiful thing. It is. It is a absolutely beautiful thing. 58 this year. It's right in the wheelhouse. I spent 46 years of my life going in the wrong direction. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing how far back I have come in the 8 years that I've been sober. How much I thought I lost forever, I got back. You know what? Still keep ripping our prayers, people. It's scary when they start talking about lungs and things. You know what, Rip? I don't think it's going to be that bad either. Rip says he thinks I'll do fine because of the half-life of subs. It's weird, Rip, because I get messages from people all the time that talk about quitting, and they say it's worse than the withdrawal is worse than heroin. And I just think to myself, how is that? How is that possible? I'm sorry. At this point, I don't know. We're going to see. Certainly, this is the first day, and if this was heroin, I would not be doing a video. By now, I would already be into the vomitous and backside, probably at the same time. Christopher Cooper, evening all, sober as a judge. I love it. I love it. He says, sober as a judge and happy to be here, I think is what he said. Chat's moving a little quick. Evening all, sober as a judge and very happy. Hope you're all okay. You know what, Christopher? I love it, man. I love it. Do me a favor and give those boys a hello from us over here at the lifeboat, please. Thank you for the advice on the new me type shit. Write it down. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. This is, and there's, let me explain this real quick before we run out of time. The importance of creating a new you is to create that subconscious level where you're no longer a loser. I'm not saying it. You're saying it. You've been telling yourself you're a loser now for as long as you've been on dope. And I'm not saying everybody that does dope is a loser. I'm saying that addicts have a subconscious mind telling you all day and all night, you're not good enough. You're not going to make it. You're wasting your time. You've tried this before. Why should you even bother? I will do. I'm seeing the boys tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Christopher. Great to see you, man. It's always great to see you. So, yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity to get it so that when you're not awake, your brain is telling you how great you're going to do when you wake up. When you're not awake, your brain is saying to you, you know what? You're a winner. What do you want to do? Pick your future, design it, and build it and live it. You can do this. Why is it so hard to quit? Well, because there are two parts of your body, and one of them is absolutely fighting you at every single turn. Screw this guy. I'm not letting him get clean. I'm not letting him get clean. So then I got to go back to work, right? I have to actually be an active mind instead of one that's drugged 24-hour a day. Your brain would rather have you drug it and make for a shit life. It really is. If you continue to do what you're doing right now, your best days are behind you. Please let that sink in. I'm serious. If you're still in the life, please. Good to see you, Rick. John Doe, good to see you. If you are still in the life, let that sit in. You want your best days to be behind you? You want it to be that brief period of time, like right between high school and college, or late 20s, before it all started to set in that, damn, I'm a drug addict. That's what you want your best life to be. Then keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you want your best days to be in front of you, then you got to stop doing what you're doing now. Now, I've been off opiates for 5 to 8 years now. When I went from 16 milligrams to 8 milligrams, I did it myself, no taper, and didn't notice anything. But going from 8 milligrams to 0 may be harder. But if you taper, it's doable. Tapering, I've done. I have tapered off of all Suboxone before. I don't take Suboxone because I was trying to avoid withdrawals. I took Suboxone because I was trying to avoid cravings. For me, it was the cravings that never went away, even after into my 5th year of sobriety, and I was still white knuckling it. So a doctor recommended that I try Suboxone. And I did, and it took away the cravings. It's been beautiful. However, I'm in such a different mindset that I'm willing to entertain the idea that maybe I can do without, and we're going to find out. Snotface gifted 5 lifeboat memberships. Are you people seeing this channel? Snotface, love you. Thank you so much. You know what? Are you seeing this channel, people? Welcome to the lifeboat. For real. Welcome to the lifeboat. This is a group of people that care about one another, and the cost of admission for that kind of connection is simply being who you are and going what you your DNA, right? What makes us what we are makes us all brothers and sisters here in a way that most people just don't get. It's a beautiful family on this lifeboat that you people have built, and I cannot thank all of you enough for giving me the best seat in the house. Really, it's a hell of a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this in ways I can't explain. Watching people's lives change is a beautiful thing. Realization was the key for me. I know you guys are from the USA, but I urge you to watch the overlap. Dele Alli, who was the next big footballer in England, but tells you how he went downhill. You know what? It is huge when we see people come on and shuck all the BS. Right? Get rid of all the BS and just tell us how it is. Be honest. There is something amazing to hear the people that we put on pedestals and that we think are so much different than we are. And you hear them describe addiction and you go, oh my God. Right? This dude was my hero. You know why? He's still your hero. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, this stuff, right? This whole addiction stuff, it's a disease. It's an absolute disease. If you don't believe that, do a little research. Spend a day or two reading about it. The debate's over. There's no longer any way to debate this. It's now testable so that you can look at two people and say, this one's an addict and that one's not. And you can do it by brain scans, whether either of them have ever used. You can show the propensity that if we induce drugs into both of these people's lives, one is going to get addicted, one is not. From the brain chemistry, they can show this. I am an ordained minister. Should my next channel be Let Me Marry You? Not bad. He's working. He's working the angles. Hurts like heck. Can I, little chief running nose? Why did the cat go to the vet? Because it had a perfect day. You're awful. That's 7th. Come on, man. You're awful. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So look, going forward, people, you know what? Are you where you want to be in your life? Right now, are you where you want to be in your life? By the way, I don't care if we're talking about drugs or not. Are you where you want to be in your life? Get a damn notebook. Get a damn notebook. Write in it in the morning and write in it at night. And people say, you know what? I have one and I journal at night before I go to bed. And I don't do it in the morning. Let me explain to you what we're doing with this journal so that this makes sense to you. Okay? We have two minds. We've agreed on this. Yeah? Okay. So 2 minds, one of which we're pretty conscious of what's going on with it because we may not run our brain, but we're certainly watching it, right? We know what's going on with it. So we have that brain. And then we have the one that is completely unconscious, right? It is the subconscious mind. This is the thing that makes you dream. And it's one of the reasons that, dreams are bizarre, right? They don't make any sense to us. They make a crap load of sense to our subconscious. Our subconscious is working through things. So even when things do not make any sense in your head, you're like, man, I had a dream. It's the weirdest thing ever. I was back in high school, but my current girlfriend was there, right? And I didn't know her until, 9 weeks ago or whatever. There are always these, everything makes sense except this, right? Everything makes sense except that. But your subconscious is programmed by what you're doing during the day. So the reason you journal at night before you go to bed is because you've got all of this crap in your head from the day. If you go to sleep with all of that crap in there, what are you doing? Well, you're programming your self-conscious, right? You're allowing your self-conscious to be programmed by things that you don't want to put in there. When you see people do those positive affirmations, you go, oh, you look like Stuart Smalley. There's nothing dumber. The hell there isn't. For real. You feel silly doing them? You betcha. You betcha. But see, when I was an addict, if somebody said you got to slam your fingers in the car door every morning, 7 o'clock, get out there, put your hand in the door, slam it shut. Okay. Then open it. You'll be sober for the entire day. I would still be slamming my fingers in the door right now. I promise you. Every morning at 7, I'd be out there slamming my hand in the door. If that's what it took, it's what I would do. I didn't want to be addicted anymore. I didn't want to have to spend hours every single day in a parking lot waiting for somebody to bring me dope. I didn't want to be so desperate for money that I was willing to rob another bank. And that's where I would go. That's where I would go. See, people, for me, when I put opiates in the body, the train jumps the tracks. It's all over. Right? From there, it goes completely nuts. So at the end of your day, you want to get all of these empty thoughts out of your dome before you lay down and go to sleep. You would like your brain to not have to deal with all of that stuff, right? To work through while you're sleeping. So you sit down and you write down what happened in the day. I don't care how you do it. I don't care. Journal your brain vomit times 2 days. Brain vomit. I love it. That's a great way to put it. I had, what had we been calling it? It's just like an info dump, but I like brain vomit. That's just awesome. So in the morning when you wake up, you've got all of the stuff that the night shift didn't quite finish because you don't really schedule that with your brain before you go to sleep, right? You don't do all right, it's 11 o'clock. Will you guys be done with the pink elephant dreams and all that crap by say 6 because I'm setting an alarm. No, you wake up when you wake up. And if your subconscious wasn't quite done working through all of the things, then what? Well, then you carry them into the day. Well, Tommy, I don't ever dream. You dream every single freaking night. Believe that. Believe it. It's not supposition. You're dreaming every single night. You get really weird if you don't. I promise. Right? Anyone that's done a ton of meth have probably seen somebody that didn't dream for about 8-9 days. Yeah, they get kooky as hell. Oh, listen to this. The no screens at night and replace with the journal. It helps you sleep in a couple of different ways. You know what? Carousel, delirium. So I was talking to Seventh about this. Seventh had reached out to me. We were talking about something else, and I asked him his opinion on this. There are so many different places you can go on YouTube and watch the sleep videos with green sound or brown sound or dark or black or whatever on a darkened screen. I think I'm going to put some up on the boat. I think we're going to have a bunch of different sleep videos up on the boat so that if you're going to be hitting one anyway, you could always just do it on the lifeboat, and it's more money toward helping people get on medical assisted treatment and things of that nature. 21 days no sleep, my limit. Whoa! 21 days no sleep. That's a runner right there. James Novak, love you, bud. Good to see you. Goosebump 801. I don't think I said hello to you tonight. Good to see you. It is. My doctor showed me I should do lunges, stay in shape. That would be a big step forward. So at night, before we go down, awful, Seventh. So tonight, right before you go to bed, you empty your brain of everything that's in there. That way the night shift can do their job a whole lot easier. In the morning, when you get up, dump everything that didn't get finished, put it through the shredder. How do you do that? You write it down in the journal. Write it down in the journal. Now you start your day, and the day shift doesn't have to deal with the work that wasn't finished by the night shift. Is this making sense? Can I get an aye, Captain? Hey, what's the deal? There's nobody sitting and listening to you. You're going to feel foolish saying it. You're alone in the house. Come on. Can I get an aye, Captain? Tonight, journal. Tomorrow morning, journal. Then make your damn bed. And every day, if you just start adding a little bit more to that routine, it can start off as easy as making the bed. If it's all you got mastered, if it took you a week, right? Master getting up and making your bed. Why? Because it's the first damn thing you can do in the morning to say, I'm a different human being. I'm not that person anymore. You say, Captain, I already make my bed. Well, good. Then find something else to do. Journal, pray, read your Bible. Start structuring your day. Hopetographer, man, good to see you. Structure your day in such a way that everything you do is a proclamation to the universe that I am a different person and I am a damn success, and I'm not taking failure for anything, right? I'm not doing it. I'm moving forward. I might get knocked down, but I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep moving forward, whether it's sobriety, whether it's raising your kids better, whether it's having a better marriage, whether it's making more money, whatever the hell it is. It's the exact same concepts. Doesn't change because of what we're striving for. Because that's different doesn't mean that anything else changes. It's the same techniques. It's the same mindset. And it starts by reprogramming everything that you thought about yourself. Seriously, raise your hand if you're completely happy with who you are as a human being. Man, I'm close. I really am. I'm close. But I'm always going to be striving to try to be more than I am. If you are content to sit exactly where you are in life and not move forward at all, man, that's a lot like doing dope to me. That sounds a lot like being addicted. Just keep moving forward. I don't care how small or how big it is, right? Set a goal and work for it. I'd like a better car. Great. If that's what your goal is, that's great. I'd like to drive this one until the wheels fall off of it. I don't care, right? But whatever it is that you want to do, and be on the lookout because we're going to be doing some member-only videos on a couple of subjects coming up. Should be before the end of the weekend, I think. So be on the lookout for that, people. See this? This is a cat in a basket. And a really out-of-control cat in a basket. Squirrel nut. Neck it in. You know, the problem is, while I was out all day long, my niece was here with her child. Cute kid. But Squirrel Nut decided to hide all day from the kid, figured she'd get her tail pulled or something along those lines. So she did the hiding thing all day. So now Squirrel is going to be up all night, and it's going to be hell. You going to turn off the live feed for me? Is that what you're doing? What are you biting? All right, peeps. I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and I'm going to be back tomorrow. You know what? I love this boat. I really do. I love this boat. I love the people on it. This is doing what it's supposed to do. Hey, if you're in the life, if you continue to do what you're doing, your best days are behind you. Go ahead and turn that off for me, Squirrel. For the love of everything good. All right, peeps. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. That is Squirrel. I'll see you all tomorrow. God bless. Hey, your best days are in front of you. So stop doing dope. Stop getting high. Let's have our best days be in front of us. All right. God bless. I love you all. Don't do it.